Hey, what's up, guys? InvestQ here. What if I told you that when it comes to a growth company, a stock such as Castellum CTM, the reason, the key to maximizing your potential profits is not more research; it's more self-awareness and emotional self-control. The biggest threat to your investment goals is not market volatility; it's your emotional and mental reaction to those market volatilities when they take place. So I want to talk to you about proven strategy that have worked for me over the past year to be able to avoid panic selling, what I'm going to continue to look out for in the future with Castellum CTM, and the specific indicators I'm looking to over the next 12 to 24 months that will determine if I wish to keep this stock or if I wish to cut my losses. So first and foremost, when it comes to sustaining calm in a company like CTM, I just want you to know that when it comes to those sorts of things, it's all about the fact that one, I remember the reason why I invested into the company in the first place. I had a set out thesis and a set out plan, a set out strategy that I put into motion and I put into place with how much I was willing to buy, for what the reason why I'm willing to buy this stock, and the period that I'm willing to hold out for, and the specific indicators that determine whether or not I still hold to the stock or I wish to get out of the stock. And again, trading and investing are two different types of conviction and mindsets. One requires a lot more patience and a lot more bandwidth and patience to be able to hold through volatility or just overall market crashes in general. Now, a few of the key indicators that I still look at is they continue to show growth in revenue quarter over quarter, and year over year the revenue has continued to steadily increase. They have a competent CEO with Glenn Ives with 30 plus years of military experience, who has his, he obviously is going to have some form of network of connections where he is able to leverage that and find ways to, make more partnerships and just overall, he's going to be able to have more acquaintances and business friends that help him acquire more partnerships and just do other things that are beneficial for the company and will help the company to grow more and more. And speaking of contracts, they continue to acquire more contracts. They acquired one not too long ago. I think roughly it was like a month and a half, 2 months ago, for roughly, I believe it was $48 million for a few quarters. I'm not sure, but it was recently. But nevertheless, for a stock at this price, they continue to get contracts after contracts. They are in a market that continues to get funding with the U.S. government because they are a defense company, and they also do use artificial intelligence in their company as well. But nevertheless, they're in a market that continues to get funding with the U.S. government. Now, the ultimate advantage is not just the research, but the emotional discipline. To be honest, trading and investing for the most part, you could have the best plan, the best thesis, everything. It's 95% psychological, which is like that with pretty much everything in life, to be honest. Boxing, any sports, whatever you get into, it's more psychological than it is physical. Most people don't understand why, but you have to fully experience the hardships of any type of career or any type of passion that you pursue to be able to understand why the psychology of it is 95 times, it's a million times more important than any physical attribute or any, talent that you might have. Now, because again, if I didn't have the emotional discipline that I actually do, I wouldn't have been able to capitalize on this plunge right now. Again, we still are in the phase of where there's more panic and there is more selling pressure. But I was able to buy up more shares, roughly somewhere at about 84 cents, and it lowered my average price from $1.01 to 98 cents. I continue to dollar cost at very cheap amounts because in the future, I'll be thanking myself for the fact that I did build up and stack those little buys brick by brick, slowly and steadily. I stick to the main reason I stick to Castellum is because of my fundamental analysis, and I refuse to sell at these prices, especially with the fact that the AR market as a whole has been crashing recently. So you shouldn't just be panicking, especially with anything else in general. If anything goes down in price and in value, everybody wants to buy at a discount. But with the stock market, with your real capital on the line, people tend to freak out more. Now, also, I want to make it very clear, because I'm very bullish when it comes to the stock. Obviously, there's lots of caution, lots of red flags you got to worry about when it comes to a cheap, volatile growth stock like this. you don't marry us. But even though I do have optimism in the long term in a 5, 10, 20 year time frame for this company, you still don't want to marry a stock. Now, what I mean by marry a stock is it's not till death do you part, because you want to stay in the game. You don't want a single stock or single investment to wipe out your entire portfolio. You never want to do that. But you do need to have long term conviction, and you do need to be able to stay, I guess in a marriage type of way, loyal, and you do need to be able to handle those volatile, hard times that a stock can provide, which is, as right now, we've gone as high as $1.40 not too long ago, $1.50, actually $1.60 at one point, and then we have crashed all the way here to currently 81 cents. Now, you don't just sell out just because you panic from what you see on the price, but everything that I mentioned about wanting to stick it out for the long term, you still need to look out for specific red flags and indicators that make you decide whether or not you should cut your losses. But this isn't the same as day trading or swing trading. The same as just hitting a stop loss, a single technical analysis stop loss, or some type of just one bad quarter, or it could be just one bad news event. It could be something on a very short time frame that only took a few weeks or a few days even. You need to widen your horizons. You need to expand that timeline. So you need to look at things longer. So obviously revenue matters. Seeing if a company is net profitable quarter over quarter matters. But again, you have to actually be patient enough to wait for quarter over quarter. So instead of for example, the 4 things that I'm mainly looking at is over the next 12 to 24 months, what is the revenue growth year over year? So not quarter over quarter, year over year. What is the net income trend over the next 12 to 24 months? How much is their debt going to be reduced? Especially because they have been doing a good job reducing their debt. How much is that going to continue to reduce in the future of the next 12 to 24 months? What is their backlog size going to be, again, over the next 12 to 24 months? Again, notice how I said 12 to 24 months. So it requires enough patience to be able to let things play out to see how it truly will go down in the next 12 to 24 months. Again, not 1 to 2 months, 12 to 24 months when it comes to long-term investments. When you are in a company that you have conviction for, and you have optimism for, you have bullish optimism for in the future. Now, when it comes to your psychology, you want to keep things simple. As I mentioned, you don't want to panic, and your psychology matters a lot more than any technical analysis or fundamental analysis. But another thing is also you don't want to overanalyze, and you don't want to try to find the holy grail of what it is to be able to handle this type of pressure. You need to keep things simple, and you need to step away from the market sometimes. And a few things that you can take into consideration is understand that once you invest first tip, understand that once you invest into a company for solid fundamental analysis, solid fundamental analysis, fundamental reasons, you want to maximize the chances of avoid panic selling. So basically, the main goal, especially in any stock you invest in, is to avoid panic selling. So take some time off from the market. Don't act on the first instinct to panic sell. Walk away, do something that gives you fulfillment and joy, and then when you have more clarity, come back and reevaluate. Now, first off, one thing that really does help with your psychology. Sorry guys, there was a little bit of a buffer right there, but first off, what really helps your psychology in managing the anxiety is you want to continue to add money to your savings account and your emergency savings to be able to handle day-to-day stresses and to be able to handle any emergency that come up. Because if you do continue to do that over the course of many months and years, watching a stock tank is not going to make you want to panic the same way if you had $0 in your bank account. Obviously, because again, the reason the stock market is so stressful psychologically and why it raises so much stress hormones, cortisol, is because, again, we are animals that are built for survival, and our main objective is to survive. Our income and our money and our finances is basically tied to how well of a job we are doing evolutionary of surviving and being able to help our next of kin or our children, if you do have children or if you're planning to have children in the future, be able to survive. So again, it's all evolutionary, it's all psychological, but that's why it's so stressful, because again, it's putting your ability to survive at risk. And you need to be able to have a specific amount of, you need to continue to build your savings, obviously continue to dollar cost average, but you need to continue saving money and building your emergency fund to handle for bad moments. And also you need to be able to have enough capital on hand for whenever you do have crashes like this, and you can take opportunities and buy in heavy in moments like this, not just with Castellum, but with any stock in general. Now, again, also, I have talked about this in previous videos, and I just mentioned this not too long ago. Find things to fulfill you, give you joy, and fill your time with hobbies and passions that you enjoy, because it helps level you out, helps keep you have clarity in your mind, and helps keep you calm. And a calmer mind is a better investor. A calmer mind is a better investing mind. Now, lastly, I also have talked about this before. What also helps you calm and control psychologically and emotionally, that cortisol spike during that panic phase, that initial panic phase, control your breathing. Let me show you. So you have to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and you have to use your diaphragm, which is basically the muscles in your stomach. You breathe in through your diaphragm. You breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, in for 4 seconds, out for 6 to 8 seconds. You feel that tension as you feel the tension in your diaphragm, and then when you let out, focus on letting your shoulders and jaw relax. So a real quick protocol is, when you feel this panic, is go outside, step away from the computer, close everything off, breathe, do that for about 20 to 30 reps or 5 to 10 minutes, and then when you have a clear mind, you can either come back, whether if it's trading, you could come back, but if it's investing, honestly, just go at a bit slower, more patient pace. Do what I just mentioned right there, and just come back in like a day or two, for example. And lastly, which also does help me as well, is when the pressure does build, I highly recommend you use a different brokerage account, or you look at the charts on a different account that does not have your physical capital. So I usually do my investing and trading with Robinhood. I like to use Thinkorswim because I only do day trading on SPY in that account. I haven't been doing that in a while, but that's another story. I haven't done that in a while, but I do not have any holdings in Castellum CTM, for example. So I like to look at it and keep track of it to see what's going on in that, but I can't make the mistake of panic selling on that brokerage account. So I hope this helps. I hope these tips were beneficial to you and helps you with your investing journey. But again, don't panic sell. Control your emotions and continue to grow and get better as an investor. That being said, guys, InvestQ out. Happy to see y'all.